There are two lower control arms on the front suspension of the 991.2. To replace them, begin by safely raising and supporting the vehicle as well as removing the front wheels and underbody tray. Please follow the link provided at the end of this video for additional assistance with that task if necessary. There is an air deflector on the lower diagonal arm, red arrow, that the tie rod runs through, green arrow. While you can technically replace the arms without separating the tie rod and removing the deflector, I recommend, if this is the first time, that you also replace your tie rods. It's very difficult to remove the tie rod without damaging the boot. Use an 18mm wrench to undo the nut on the top of the ball joint. If it spins, use a T40 torque in the stud to keep it from turning, red arrow. Use a ball joint separator and separate the tie rod from the wheel carrier. Separate the tie rod. You can now remove the air deflector. If you have not damaged the rubber boot, you can simply reinstall the tie rod when you are done. Just make sure not to change the length of the rod while working. If you replace the rod, you will need your alignment done when you're replacing the control arm anyways. Release the two clips, red arrows, from behind and remove the air deflector from the diagonal arm. You now have clear access to the two lower control arms on the front suspension of the 991.2. The forward diagonal arm, green arrow, that connects to the lower control or coffin arm and the body and subframe. The lower control arm or coffin arm connects to the wheel hub via a ball joint, red arrow, and the lower subframe, blue arrow, via a nut and bolt. We are going to begin by separating the wheel carrier from the coffin arm. If you are only replacing the diagonal arm, you do not need to do this step. Use an 18mm wrench and remove the nut on the top of the ball joint, red arrow. If the ball joint spins while attempting this, you can put some pressure on the lower portion of the ball joint to stop it from spinning. Use care as so to not lift the vehicle off of the jack stands. With the nut off, use a ball joint separator and separate the coffin arm from the wheel carrier. With the ball joint separated, you can now remove the coffin arm from the subframe, red arrow, and the forward diagonal arm, green arrow. First, we are going to replace the diagonal arm. Loosen the 18mm bolt, but do not remove it from the subframe, blue arrow. Completely remove the 18mm bolt from the subframe, diagonal arm, and chassis, red arrow. Porsche considers all of the hardware to be single-use only and must be replaced. Next, use an 18mm socket or wrench, blue arrow, and a 21mm wrench, red arrow, and remove the nut and bolt connecting the diagonal arm to the lower or coffin arm. You can now remove the diagonal arm. Make sure to clean the area between the subframe mount and the chassis. There is a headlight leveling system on one side only if so equipped. The leveling system has a gimbaled arm that attaches to the coffin arm, blue arrow. Use two 10mm wrenches and separate the arm at either the sensor or the control arm, red arrows. Use a 16mm and an 18mm wrench and remove the bolt, blue arrow, and nut, red arrow, connecting the control arm to the subframe. You do not need to mark this junction. Unlike the rear, the factory lower control arm is not used to adjust the camber. This is done through the top strut mount or the lower arm if you have a GT3 control arms or adjustable arms. Remove the control arm from the subframe. Transfer over the leveling arm connector to the new control arm. Push the center pin out and squeeze in on the clips on the connector. Insert the plastic mount into the new arm and reset the pin, red arrow. Installation is the reverse of removal. Torque the lower control arm ball joint to wheel carrier to 75 Newton meters or 56 foot-pounds. Torque the lower control arm to subframe to 120 Newton meters or 89 foot-pounds, and torque the diagonal arm to lower control arm and diagonal arm to subframe to 160 Newton meters or 118 foot-pounds. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out another video in this series.